Why does reading matter? More to the point, why does reading specifically Indigenous material matter? As Daniel Heath Justice would say, Indigenous literatures matter because we matter. Because the things that we write down and the stories we tell are one more way that we push back against the forces that try to erase us, against the people who try to invent us with a purpose and intention that doesn't serve our needs. Reading does matter, and reading radically with purpose and intention can change your life. I have friendships based entirely on books. As somebody who has always loved to read, I've read widely and intentionally over the years. Friends and family sharing books back and forth. Together, we have tried to better understand unfamiliar landscapes. We have looked for new centers to revolve around and extend out from, centers that will help us enact our humanity in ways that do not deny it to others. Reading in this way, focusing on books from a particular place or people, requires a willingness to clear mental space. This idea is contained within Dawisajigem, which is an Ojibwe word that translates into English as to clear space, like clearing off a table before a meal, or moving books off my desk or side tables to make room for new piles. Like many readers, I often have several books going on at one time, layering fiction with nonfiction, or setting conversational books alongside more academic material. This puts the books into conversation with each other, which leads to new ideas or ways of understanding the topics, other ways of reading and understanding familiar texts. We might disagree, but that disagreement is a kind of relationship rather than a point of contention. Through Dawisajigem, we clear mental space. Curiosity encourages us to make room for new ideas to permeate into our thinking, rather than just let them float on the surface. All of this collided when my friend Kyle, white Canadian settler, asked me to recommend one or two books that would help them get a better understanding of Indigenous experience and thought. As I stood in front of my disorganized shelves and piles of books, trying to think of what I could recommend, I had a problem. The question Kyle was asking was actually pretty broad. Which experiences? Indigenous thought about what? There was no single book I could think of recommending over the others. Because just as there are so many things we think and write about, there are, as Justice says in the epigraph, so many ways that we counter erasure and give shape to our own ways of being in the world. There are many similarities to how we live in the world, many shared values. But how we interpret and live out those values sometimes differs drastically even within communities, let alone through the many languages, cultures, traditions, and more.